Project coming to you from the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation. Tonight, bleak warnings that AI threatens to unleash a nightmare, blurring the lines between fact and fiction and posing a bigger threat to humanity than climate change.
Artificial intelligence, who masters those technologies, in some way will be the master of the world.
Artificial intelligence is here and experts are worried.
ChatGPT was the fastest growing app ever. They're now in the hands of billions of people. Even small harms multiplied by billions can be quite significant.
ChatGPT and other generative AI models are trained on swathes of text and data that already exist on the internet.
It's trained from everything people ever did. It's read every novel there ever was. There's the worry that it might start manipulating us into giving it more power.
You don't mind talking about it, do you, Dave?
No, not at all.
Today, Australia's Human Rights Commission are delivering a stark warning.
There are so many potential consequences. The potential misinformation, the rise in hate speech, the potential for bias, the potential for chatbots to hallucinate, being able to distinguish fact from fiction.
That coming as tech giants including Elon Musk and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak call for a pause in the AI race until we understand its implications. Even scientist Geoffrey Hinton, considered the godfather of AI, quit his role with Google to raise the alarm.
There are things to be worried about.
They could easily manipulate us if they wanted to.
If we produce things that are more intelligent than us, how do we know we can keep control?
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm very fearful that we're going to repeat many of the same mistakes we make with social media, that it will turn out to bring various harms as well as benefits into our lives.
And there's no denying AI can reshape our world for the better, revolutionising medical diagnostics, developing new materials, forecasting natural disasters.
I believe that there'll be more jobs created than lost, and certainly new and different jobs that we can't even identify at this point in time.
Now, Lorraine is calling on Australia to become a world leader in the regulation of artificial intelligence.
In many respects, the Australian government's actually leading the way in terms of talking about the importance of responsible and ethical AI, but we need to do more because we simply can't let the technology move ahead without actually thinking about what it means for humankind and our society more broadly.
I can see you're really upset about this.
But with the AI genie well and truly out of the bottle, is it too late to regulate?
Well, joining us now is tech futurist Chris Riddell. Chris, nice to see you. Are we over-egging this? How worried should we be about it?
I'm terrified. Every time I go to bed at night, I worry about the robots taking over. So you're in right space.
Seriously?
Here's the thing. If we look at some of the patterns that have played out over generations, every generation thinks they're important enough that they're seeing the end of the world and doomsday happening. So I do believe that potentially that is happening. But what if it was something different? I mean, what if we're actually witnessing here one of the most extraordinary shifts that we've ever seen in human history? And I think that's the point that we genuinely actually could be at.
Is it too late to stop?
No, we had this chat earlier. It's can you stop this machine? Not at all. You look at the exponential growth that we've had with technology over the last decade or so. It's been moving incredibly fast. But can we stop that? No. Why would we want to do that? If you look at some of the possibilities with AI, I mean, healthcare for one, AI will be able to fix some of the health things that we've never been able to address.
But might the bad override the good?
That's where things get interesting. It's the bit that worries me and the bit that we all get in a stir over is there are fundamentally about 5 or 6 people individually that really want to control artificial intelligence, want to own that space. That's the worrying bit. Do we want that? Not at all. That's not a direction that any of us want to go in. And I think that's where government has an opportunity here when it comes to relevance.
Well, that means regulation.
It does.
Can we regulate this?
Facebook, funnily enough, is a bit of an interesting one. If you look at what happened over the last few years, we saw things like the Cambridge Analytica crisis out of the UK. And Facebook have kind of been this model where we've seen what happens when it goes wrong. And then if you pair that with the fact that government have been in a relevance crisis, to put it quite bluntly, over the last few years, this is government's opportunity now to really step in and go, we need to regulate this, we can do, what should we be doing?
Can they? Regulation is a process that takes years. And especially in democracies, like there's arguments, there's also, politicians who don't necessarily understand this are going to have to come up with rules. And this evolves, like a month from now. It's a totally different
And we
thing.
can't control Russia or China, or I mean, there'd be someone out of step with us.
And that's the worrying bit. If you look at governments, to put, first of all, have no understanding of where this technology sits. But here's the thing, I think, when we look at what are we trying to achieve with this, we've got to stop seeing this as something that's in the next couple of years that we're trying to work on. We are planting the seed for a tree today that we will never sit under. And that's what we've got to do. And we look at how we address
What is it going to look like, though? It's hard when, like, thinking of a non-human threat. Like, how do we die, basically, is what I'm... You know, like, how does it get us all... Like, look, we've got some visions of some robots right here. Should we be, like, becoming friends? Look at them here. Look at them falling over.
We could...
this is
like, they're not going to get us, are they? Should be more worried about them than climate change.
Just run up the stairs.
I want to see these things fight each other. That's where things get really interesting. But, I mean, this here is the pointy end of the spectrum. I mean, as far as the bits that worry us as humans are when robots start behaving like us, when they become sentient. And that's the bit why we've suddenly got interested in this over the last couple of months or so, is because we've reached this tipping point now where tech can behave like us as humans. The question is, what are we going to do that? We can't stop this. This isn't a train that we can stop.
We can stop it.
We
Stop
can't.
doing it.
We can't. No way can we stop this. How are we going to pull? Well, you pull the plug. Let's find the plug for artificial intelligence.
Don't look around here for plugs.
So when the killer robots come and wipe us all out, we'll just go, oh well, there's nothing we could have done to prevent this.
Doomsday is coming.
Great. Excellent.
I'm really glad I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I'm old.
What a great way to start to end a Monday, hey?
Happy Monday.
Chris Riddell, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.